more 3D printing on the Crafted channel. This is one of my more complex projects. This is a knob. This is a tray for my drill press. This will clamp onto the back post of the drill press. A 1/4-20 fastener goes through here. A nut gets pressed in the knob, and this tightens it up to make sure that it doesn't slip. I've got some holes here that I can hold chamfering bits and various accessories in, and then a tray to lay miscellaneous stuff in. I'll always have a place to keep my chuck key. This model has supports. There's a 1/4-inch hole through here, and that is an overhang that can't be printed on, so it builds a little support that'll crack out of there easily. So we've got to break the supports out. Here's where the cap for a cap head fastener keys in, and it had to build a support in there in order to print the roof of it. This was the bottom of the print. This is the top of the print. It actually printed like this. We'll show a sped up motion photography of this object printing on my XYZ printer. Well, now it's time to weed this part out. Let's get rid of all of the junk here, all of the supports. Well, that was fun. Now what we have here is a raft or a spacer that it built up under the part before it printed the part. And I made a mistake, and I had this suspended above the surface of the workspace. So when I printed it, since it was up off of the glass, it had to actually build this little support structure here in order to print the knob. I've since lowered the knob down to the glass, so the next time I print it, it won't have this structure on it. This should break off easily. Look at that. Piece of cake. Now, I don't have as nice of a finish down here as I would have had I had this positioned properly on the printer, because it would be printing on glass, and so this would be baby butt smooth. But we can fix that. And we can see down in the hole, I have to install a nut in here. There's a little bit of loose stuff. That looks clean. And other than sanding that off a little bit, that part is done. Nothing secret about drywall screen. It was just the first thing that I came to in the top of my sanding drawer. There we go. That looks better. Use my fastener as a tool to drive the nut into this hex bore. Line it up. That's seated home. printer prints its first layer, it squeezes it down on the board, which squishes it out, and that leaves a kind of a sharp edge on the bottom layer everywhere. And that makes this hole a little too small right in here, so we're going to take a deburring tool and clean that excess off. We can see the shaving coming off. My deburring tool was lost for some time. Felt great to find it. And be a little harder to use on this outside surface. I kind of like a vertical knife blade as a scraper. We can see the shavings that is getting off. We want to take that edge off of there, and I'm kind of making also a sharp corner here by doing that, so I'm going to take the blade at an angle and take that off. And that makes that a lot more pleasant to feel. Just to take the sharpness off of these parts. Seems like it works better in one direction than the other. Made that edge a little rough, but it looks pretty good. Here's our fastener. A little long, but completely contained inside the knob. We can see that closes down nicely. Let's put it on the drill press. I'm going to take my gap here on the clamp and put a 1/4 inch drill bit in it to open it up. So hopefully that'll make it slide onto the pipe easily. Now just lift this up. Set it aside. A very snug fit. So with the knob loose, we can move it and reposition it. With the knob snugged up, very tight, not going anywhere. Well, let's load it up. Oh, that'll fit better there. So there we go. There's my drill press, mini drill press tray. Now these 5-speed, 3rd horsepower, made in China drill presses, there must be 50 trillion of them here in the United States. And they all are made from the same castings. So all of these posts are the same diameter. And this measures 1 inch 811. And I believe it's 46 millimeter. Yep, 45.93, so it's like 46 millimeter pipe. This is going to become a product that I offer in support of the Crafted channel. So if you want one of these, check the link below the video and you should find a way to get one. Printed another one of these. I wanted to make a couple modifications. I corrected the height of this part of the knob so that I didn't have a buildup where it was up off of the glass, which gives me a lot nicer, smoother finish. Didn't have to sand that. And I felt this plastic here was unnecessary. I radiused it down. You can see I've got a bevel here, but I didn't put this radius down here because we'd have to build a support structure to hold it up. And it might look a little nicer, but I don't like the areas where the support structure is. It's just more work to tear off and not cosmetically really nice. So, but yeah, beautiful part. Happy with it. I'm going to weed this one out and get it ready to go. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. Both my drill presses are already equipped. Probably run it on eBay. Get a little something out of it to support my channel work. Maybe to help pay for some of the plastic I've had to buy. I've been doing pretty well with the ZYX printing plastic, which they deliver that for less than 20 bucks. That's what this is. I understand you can get a lot of junk in plastic and end up having to clean your nozzle a lot. I've only had to do that once. Not sure what the cause was, but I was using an expensive roll of plastic at the time. I'm not exactly sure how many of these I can make out of a roll, but probably, I don't know, 6 to 8, something like that. Maybe more. But it takes the printer about 6.5 hours to print one. So I'm not sure this is really a financially viable thing to be making, but it pleases me to make it. And I want to perfect the design. There's a little buildup in the floor of the nut well. Let me put this down on the table. This is where it built the support structure up in order to support this overhang. Yeah, I can't hardly help myself. Once I start designing something, I print it and I look at it and it's like, oh, it looks so much better with radiuses here and here. And, you know, you kind of see what's missing from it. You know, I think there's beauty in engineering. And something that's engineered well is also looks right. On the 1/4-20 nut. This gives me metal threads. Yeah, that's a little tighter now. I'd like that a little tighter yet. That's something I'm tweaking on. And notice I put radiuses here as well. And when I did that, that meant I no longer would have a flat surface here for the tightening knob. So I had to inset a little flat surface there. This causes it to use a little less plastic to make the part. But also, a lot of this material that's out here isn't really doing anything. So I might as well put some curves and stuff in it, and so it's styled a little better. I love these little drill presses. If you don't have a drill press at home, there's nothing like being able to drill a square hole, meaning that you can drill a hole that is vertical through the part. Excellent investment. These sell for, I think, around 80 bucks. Yeah, between 80 and 100. Still available today. 5-speed, 1/3 horsepower motor. Grab one. Get these edges cleaned up. Guess this works one way better than the other. You know, I like the knife better. This, by the way, is glue from the glass. I'm using Elmer's stick glue to hold the thing down while it prints it. You don't want it coming unstuck or warping or moving. So I can soak this in a little bit of water to get rid of it. Be careful, my wrist is there. I think that's fine. By radius in these things, I have fewer edges now that need cleaned up. Those bottom layers on a 3D printer are always squished down. And so holes will be smaller, edges will be slightly flared out. Sometimes you can't see it, but you can always feel it. Wow, that's a beautiful part. I really like it. It's taken me a while to get the styling just the way I want. And when you look at this, do you see anything that doesn't belong in the style of this? I do. I see one more thing I want to do. And every time I do something, I always see something else that I want to do. And that is, I have a sharp inside corner. Now notice all these corners are softened and radiused. That's a little tiny one, but that's no big deal. But right here, this just doesn't look the way I want it to look. So I'll put a little fillet in there and just kind of clean that up, and I like it even better. I think when you do work, it's important to be self-critical of it, and I don't mean to be negative about your work, but look at your work and see how it could be improved. Since I printed the first one of these, I've probably made 20 little changes to it in order to make it better. More satisfying to the eye, more pleasing, easier to print, all that stuff. So, just some ideas and thoughts to be aware of when you're doing 3D printing and when you're designing for 3D printing. This is Dave with the Crafted Channel signing off.
Terminated.